Welcome back to the Mom and Me book launch celebration. We are coming down on the home stretch, getting ready for our mama pajama party. And remember, if you haven't let us know that you are a mom, you have some pajamas, and you purchased a book and you want to be a part of it so that you can play games and take a crack at winning the grand prize, you only have a little bit more time. Let me know, or let whoever invited you know that you want to be in the room. So we are back with our final 5 authors. And this is amazing. This has been an incredible day, especially since we hit #1 Amazon best-selling authors. Tamara, you cheated. You didn't let her use the popper. So I'm not cleaning that up. Look at the baby. Okay, so we are back for our final authors to talk about their chapters in the book and share with you pieces of their amazing stories. And so I'm going to be starting with who I see on my screen first, which is Tamara Dunn. And so you are up. She's going to be sharing a little bit. And here we go.
Hi, everyone. So the title, sorry, my daughter is going to be.
Okay.
The title of my chapter was It Was By Choice. And so it talks about my loss story. I had a pregnancy lost in 2014. And then I went on to become a foster parent. I became a mom that way. And then I went on to have my daughter on my own through donor. So that's the reason why the chapter is It Was By Choice, because I became a single parent by choice. One of the things that I wanted people to kind of get from the chapter is that it's okay to make decisions outside of the norm. I struggled for a while with my decision and wanting to be a mom, and having people tell me, oh, you should wait till you get married, or you should wait till you find the right one. But in my mind, what if I never find that person? That doesn't mean that I can't be a mom. And that doesn't mean that I don't deserve to be a mom. So I kind of wanted people to just live in their truth and be okay with the decision that they made. I am completely okay with the decision that I made. I don't feel that my children have lacked anything, and they have wonderful male role models in their lives, to kind of fill whatever void they may have. And actually, it's interesting. I got the daddy question today from my 3-year-old for the first time. So that was a pretty interesting conversation we had.
Wow. On the Mom and Me launch day, huh? put their mommy skills to the test.
Yeah.
Wow. I thank you for sharing your story, because yes, it is a different perspective. And it's one that I've heard before. I've heard, other people who have made that decision. I mean, we see it also a lot in Hollywood. You see a lot of women in Hollywood who've said, I want to be a mom, but the whole relationship thing that's attached to it, no matter what the circumstances that made it that way, it was by choice. Like your chapter title is, it was by choice. And so I thank you for sharing that perspective, because there's somebody out there that might be struggling with what to say to people who are, putting their opinions and their beliefs and their ideals on them. And it's like you said, it is a decision that you've made, and you're happy with your decision. And so you may just, but through your chapter, give someone else permission to stop feeling guilty about the decision that they made, that they were clear is the decision that they wanted to make. So thank you for that. I hope I said that as clearly as it was in my mind, but like I said, it's a little late. But thank you so much for being so transparent and sharing your story. And I've known you for years, so I kind of knew a little bit about your journey. So it was interesting to see the rest of it, because I think where I left off was with your son. And so then I knew you had, daughters because I saw pictures in them, but I didn't know, the backfill of the story. So it was very interesting to read your chapter, and I'm so grateful that you decided to share it in the Mom and Me. So thank you for your yes.
You're welcome.
All right. And so next up, we have Margo W Williams joining us.
Good evening, everyone. It's such a pleasure actually to be a part of this entire project.
Amen.
And it's been a blessing to me because it's really made me stop and think about so many areas of my life and just how God works. My chapter is called Mirror, Mirror on the Wall. And when I began to write and began to really pray about what do I say? I've been a mother. I felt like I've been a good mother, but what can I really share with someone that maybe someone else may not have shared or may not, share in this project?
Mhm.
And the Lord kept bringing back to me the experience that I had with my daughter. To give you some background, I was the kind of child that tried to always please my parents and please my grandparents and uncles and aunts. I always wanted to be the one that they would be proud of. And I carried that throughout my life. And I was reared, of course, very closely in the church, very knitted in God's word and all of that. And when I became a young adult, I started really realizing that there were aspects of my life that I was unhappy about, but I really could not pinpoint it, if you understand. And so, even with getting married and all of that, I went through all of these cycles of just not feeling fulfilled. But then on the outside, it looked like I should have had a wonderful life. And it was wonderful, but I just was not truly fulfilled with myself. And becoming a mother, I had my son first, but then when my daughter came, it was the funniest thing. We used to always make jokes about, because every day I threw up. The entire 9 months, I threw up. And it was not like just it was projectile, that type of thing, the
Wow.
entire 9 months. Even when I was having that cesarean, it was the same thing. It was like, get me something. And so I knew from that that it had to be something different with this little girl because my son, it was very easy. It was, he was very easy to rear. And it wasn't until she was about 3 or 4 years old, she was in daycare, and she stood up to the administrator about an issue. And that's when I really began to ask myself some questions, because when I brought her home that afternoon to talk to her about something that she had done, she was like, well, I told them, I told them, I answered their questions, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because it wasn't a big deal. And as much as I wanted to just say, that is not what you're supposed to do, it brought a place of consciousness to me. And what it did, it made me begin to think about my life and how I had literally performed to please the people that I loved the most. And I realized over the years, and that was really the true beginning of it. I realized over the years how much I had given myself to others that I loved, but how much I had neglected myself.
Mm.
And so as I watched her and as we have reared her, she was a child that seemed to have done all sorts of things. And I would say, she is not like her brother. I don't know where in the world this girl came from. I didn't do things like that. And the Holy Spirit began to bring a conviction to me. And, he'll remind you of some things that you have selectively forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what happened with me. He showed me a few things in my life when I was growing up that I should not have done, that was not pleasing to him. But he also showed me why I did not do some of the things that I could have done.
Mm.
And it was very convicting to me. And although my daughter, She was what I would call a silent rebeller. Through all of that, it was like a mirror to me because I knew that had I not had a fear of God, that was an unhealthy fear. If I had not had that sense of, I don't want to disappoint my mom, I don't want to disappoint my grandfather, our family name, I would have done many of the things that my daughter dared to do.
Mhm.
And what it did is that it showed me in my life, here you are an adult and you're still coloring in the lines.
Wow.
And why are you coloring in the lines? Who drew the lines for you? And I would watch my daughter, and it began to minister to me as she was growing out of that phase of her life. I began to really embrace and love the experience that I had watching this girl be who she was, not feeling as if I don't have to apologize for being a kid. I don't have to apologize for doing the things that teenagers do. I don't have to apologize for that. And what I realized is that I had allowed tradition, I had allowed religion, I had allowed all of these people and circumstances to build a prison for me.
Wow.
And I was always very strong-minded. I was always opinionated. I used to speak for myself and not apologize for it. But I realized the older that I got, the more I looked at, what am I going to lose if I do this? Because I was brought up in this family that my family named to us as the grandchildren. We loved our grandparents and we would do nothing to make our grandparents feel embarrassed of us,
Wow.
you know, because we were always taught to be good children. And I took that to the nth degree.
Mm.
But being a good kid will teach you how to deny yourself, how to betray yourself. And so through my daughter and all of our experiences and even our conversations, I realized that you must be true to you in order to be truly effective in your relationships with other people.
Mhm.
And so it just really revolutionized my life, you know, and she and I have a wonderful relationship today. And a lot of that beauty that came out of it is because I got to a point that I realized I don't have to be so good for them. I need to be who I am. And it was through my daughter that I was able to see myself.
Wow.
And so that's why I call it mirror, mirror on the wall. Because even though there were things that I knew that I would not have done, there were many things that I would have done.
Yep.
But to see her be herself and to be authentic. And my life was always one that I wanted to live in authenticity. I teach authenticity. But you can get to a place where you don't recognize yourself if you're not truly honest with yourself about yourself.
Mm.
And so for me, I love the fact that my daughter, I don't like everything that she had done, but I love the fact that she had the courage to be herself
Wow.
and to not worry about whether or not her mom and daddy thought it was okay. Because she had to live her life on her terms. And we had to learn to parent her with that.
Mhm.
Because I don't want her to live a life for me and then lose who she is. And so
Yeah.
I'm so grateful just to be able to have put this on paper. I don't know if it makes sense. I don't even know if
It
it'll help
does.
someone else. But I just know that in the scheme of life, we truly have to be authentically who we are
Mhm.
so that we can truly be the vessels to help other people. So that was what my chapter was all about.
Yeah, and it was amazing. It was amazing. And I thank you for sharing all of that. And yes, it all made sense. And yes, it's going to be an amazing blessing to whoever reads it. You'll free some people just giving them permission to do exactly what you just said. And I just think about the fact that a lot of times we parent like we were parented, and
Mhm.
that's not always the best thing for our children.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so for you to realize that in looking at how your daughter was growing, I just think is an amazing testimony that is going to help so many people. Maybe it's going to cause people to look at what they're doing a little bit differently.
Mhm.
um being myself, having a son who didn't take a traditional route of anything, and my youngest one, wanting to go dance, like I could have said to him, well, no, you should be going to school for this, or it makes more sense for you to be this. But he was so headstrong, much like your daughter, and knew exactly what he
Yeah.
wanted to do, that I just had to get out of his way and
Mhm.
let him live his
Yes.
life, the one that God may be calling him to live, and not
Right.
necessarily the one that we think they should live. And
Yes.
so I just really applaud you for sharing that story. And I'm hoping that in that it will, cause people to take another look or rethink some things. And it's also that thing about looking at yourself,
Yes.
and so you really talked about all of that brilliantly in your chapter. And I think it'll give a lot of people pause or thoughts.
Awesome. Thank
So
you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for your yes. Thank you for sharing your story and giving us another amazing chapter to be able to impart into other moms' lives. That's going to be really phenomenal. So all the hands that it gets into. So thank you so much, Margo, because I know
Thank
you are a
you.
super busy lady. So
Yeah.
the fact that and everybody, it's like we all have so much stuff going on. And so I don't take it for granted that you guys took the time out to get this done. And it's just going to be an amazing blessing to everybody who reads it. So thank you again.
Mhm.
Yes.
Thank you.
Let me take a quick look in the chat. Wow, we still have so many people joining us. Debbie Rice is hanging on. Okay, we have to invite Debbie to the pajama party. She says she wants to come. Yes, Tamara. Let's see. I'll tell people all the time that you don't have to wait to be a mom if that's your choice. Bravo to you. Yes. Okay, let's see. Be true to you, be true to other people. Powerful. Everybody's saying powerful, powerful. Yes. And then Debbie said, that's a word. You must be true to you and be authentic in other relationships. Yes, Margo. So, yeah, lots of comments coming in. I'm just so excited that people are like still hanging out with us at this hour. So, just wanted to give some folks a shout out. And now, up next is my sister. And every time I tell somebody that we're sisters, they say by blood. I'm like, yeah, she's my sister. And so next up is Ms. Monica Thomas coming to this virtual stage. It's all yours, sister.
Hello, everybody. Of course, I'm Monica Thomas, and it is, first of all, I just want to say it is such an honor. It has been such an honor to be a part of this project with so many amazing moms. And I went through the book, I skimmed through, and there's so many moms have so many identifiable stories that you can relate to. And I thank my sister for asking me to be a part of this. I was a little nervous when she first asked me, and I was wondering, could I do this, as a beginning co-author. I'm pretty sure some of you may have can identify as your first time. My first thought was, what do I have to say that other people may want to hear? And that was my fear. But once I started writing, I found that a lot of what I had been holding in for so long was just released. So the title of my book is Looking on the Other Side of the Glass. And what I do is I take you through the journey, the ups and the downs of having a child that's incarcerated. And although it was many years ago, what I found is a lot of what I have written in those chapters had been held in with just me for so long. And I didn't realize how much of a release, how much it freed me to put that out and say, this is what I've been holding in for so long. So I take you through that journey. And one of the things that I hope that my readers take away is that no matter what our children go through, I love my son no matter what, from beginning to end, always and forever. That will never change. And it doesn't matter what the things that they go through. We always say, my son has always told me, Mom, you're the mom and the dad, because I was a single parent. And you hear people say, oh, you're the mom and the dad, but you can't be both. So I disagree with that, because a father gives his father, a mom is a mom. And no matter how much you may try to play the part of a dad, it's it's not the same. But that doesn't take away from the love and the guidance that you give to your children. And no matter what they do on the outside, because we can't control everything that they do, especially when they get older, they're grown. And what you do is not a reflection of how you brought them up. It's not a reflection of the love and the guidance and the training, the nurturing that you have given them. So that's one of the things that I really, as I depict in my chapters, kind of go through to help everyone or anyone who may be in a situation, who have been in a situation, or maybe going through a situation right now. It's not a reflection that you're a bad mom, or that you've done anything, or they've done anything. And you can't take on the part of what they have done is, or I guess a part of your reflection of who you are. So anyway, I hope that, someone will get something out of the chapters. And I'm really, really thankful to be a part of it, and more thankful to be a part of all these wonderful moms too.
Ain't she precious, y'all? She's my big sister too. She is the oldest of four of us. But I just love you so much. And I thank you so much for saying yes, because I did, basically say, you need to write in this book. She's like, sister, me? I'm like, yes, sister, you.
Yeah.
Because I just felt like that is such a powerful story to share. Because like you said, our children have a mind of their own. They're going to do, after a certain age, they're going to do what they want to do. And sometimes that may get them into some things that we can't get them out of. And just, seeing you go through that journey, which I didn't even know, and this is a part of what you wrote about in the book, was like when the family found out. I found out in the back of the limo on the way to our father's funeral. I'm like, where's Tay? She's like, he'd be here if he could be. I'm like, what does that mean? Where is he? What is going on? But so I just wanted you to share your perspective and what that was like, because I don't think anybody ever talks about that. Like the journey of the parent of an incarcerated child. What does that look like? And how do you get through the day to day? And what I loved about your chapter is that you were so transparent in sharing about, how do I even go to work? And like, what do I say to people? And like, how do I still continue to go on and every day worrying about what happens? And it's something to me, because I used to always tell my sons, don't do anything that's going to make me actually have to look at you through some glass, or put my hand to a glass and can't touch you. Don't do that, because I do not think I can ever handle that. And so the fact that you, as my sister, went through this with my nephew, I was like, I just really, really wanted you to share your journey with that, because there's some mom out here who needs to know, because it's happening, and some mom needs to know, how do I even take the next step when my baby is behind bars? And so just powerful stuff. And so, sister, I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for following through with it, because again, you're another person that doesn't seem to have an extra minute in a day. So for you to say yes, I don't take it for granted, because you're my sister. I truly respect you. And I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'm not trying to get emotional. I'll just say I love you and thank you.
Love you too.
Yes. And so next up we have Ms. Tamlyn Franklin, who's coming to share with us. And so I'm going to mute. Hold up.
Hello, can you hear me? Awesome. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you so much for the opportunity to be a part of this project. It has been liberating and inspiring to hear so many wonderful stories, and it's like I connect with so many parts of each woman's story that it opens me up to receive more information that I ever thought I would ever get from a project such as this. So Kimberly, thank you for your vision for this project, and thank you for the opportunity to be a part. I am Tamlyn Franklin, and my story is the title of my chapter, rather, is Mine, His, Theirs, Ours, Oh My. And it's about being a mom in a blended family. I started off as a mom, as a teenage mom. I was 19 when I had my son, and I was I was a young mother, and I was a single mother. And being a single mother, I had a bond with my child that was unbreakable. And all along, raising a child all the way up to he was age 8, I was able to manage everything and take care of him and just grow together. So we were mother and son, but we were really like best friends, because it was just him and I, and we lived out of state at one point where all we had was each other. I did have a lot of family support, but my son and I, we had a very strong bond. And then I always wanted to be married, and I didn't know how that would pan out. But when I did get married, when my son was 11 years old, the man that I married had a child when he was in college, and he also had children from a marriage. And then him and we had a child together. So it was his child from the previous relationship, my child from my teenage years, his children from a marriage, and then along came another child during our marriage. So it was like a balancing act to what I thought was going to be a fairy tale marriage. It was not such. It was far from a fairy tale. It was, it was, it caused me to lose my hair the first year of marriage, because there were so many variables and so many things to manage that no one really tells you that when you marry someone who already has children. No one tells you what the children are experiencing. So there are a lot of things to manage being the mom of all these people. So I went from a mom of one into a family of 7, including a newborn. So it was newborn, it was middle, elementary age children, middle school, and we had a high schooler. So it was crazy. And learning how to delegate tasks, discipline, trying to keep the relationship with your spouse strong and healthy. It's just a balancing act that no one really tells you how to do that. And my advice for any woman who is embarking on a marriage with someone, whether you already have children or the man that you're marrying already has children, to really consider the fact that the children from previous relationships and the children from broken marriages where there was a divorce, those children come with so much anger. And as a mom to children who are not your biological children, you have to walk a very thin line to keep everything in a state where it seems fair, where it's equitable for all the children. So as a mom, you are walking a tightrope day after day after day, trying to keep your child happy, the other children happy, trying to make sure everyone, all the needs are met for everyone, where you begin to lose yourself. So my chapter goes into our experiences and the journey, and it's been a 20-year journey for the marriage and for the children, and being a blended family, which is very challenging. And on paper, it sounds great. And in my mind, before I said I do, I thought it was going to be bells and whistles every single day, but it was eye-opening the first night. So I just want to, I pray that the chapter will help some woman who may be wanting to throw in the towel, because it got to a point in the marriage and in the relationship where the stress is so overwhelming that I thought many times of just walking out the front door and never looking back, because it was so stressful and overwhelming. And you really don't know how to manage that if you've never seen it or never have had the opportunity to see how it's handled. So I pray that the chapter will help some woman, some mom, some dad, some family, even some children, to understand what the dynamics of the mom and what she's going through, and for mothers to understand what the children are going through, because there are so many variables when you bring kids who have been disciplined in one way in one household. They had tasks and chores or ways to study in another household. So you're bringing all these people together and trying to blend it into one happy family, and that takes work. So my advice to anyone in that situation is give yourself the gift of time, because you won't bond with everyone immediately. You may or you may not, and you have to give yourself time. You won't know what everyone's likes and dislikes are. You'll cook something and it won't be pleasing to anyone, and you have to find that out along the way. It's trial and error. But with a blended family, the gift of time is the best gift that you can give yourself. And with that, I'm just thankful again for the opportunity.
Wow, that is so good. And how ironic is it that we hit #1 bestseller in step parenting and blended families today? So it's a hot topic, right? I just really appreciate you sharing that whole perspective, because we see a lot of blended families now. And I know when I gave it my best shot, it did not work. Like bringing someone into the mix when your kids are like teenagers, Lord have mercy. So I can kind of relate to some of it, but I remember when I first met you, Tam, it was like, I think you said like 7 children or something like that. And I was like, huh? You were like, yeah. And so I just thank you so much for being a part of this project, for sharing your perspective on blended families, because I think it's such an important topic, and people need to know how to effectively manage it. And so seeing you walk through the steps of your journey in that, and how, I just remember the part about going to the grocery store for the first time and spending like $300 on that first night. And you're talking about you had to learn how to manage that, and how to buy, a meal per person or something like that. So there's somebody out there that needs that information as a mom. And so I'm glad that you shared that perspective. And so you guys can see like how rich this project is, because is hitting on so many different aspects of being a mom, and then giving great practical advice and great strategies for how to work through some of those things. And so, Tamlyn, I thank you again for being a part of the project, and I just applaud you for writing such an amazing chapter, and thank you for your yes. And next up, moving right along. Oh, I wanted to give some feedback because we had some comments that were really good. Let me go back to Monica. So many people saying, I can't wait to read the other ladies' chapters. So one thing about me when we do anthology projects, I don't let anybody read the other person's chapter before the book is published. And so when to our viewing audience, if you're wondering why, well, they're all in the same book and they're saying they can't wait to read the other person's chapter, that is why. So it's just as much as of a surprise to them as it is to you. So they can't wait to read the book either. So let's see. Debbie said, Monica, so many moms will benefit from your story. Sometimes the guilt of our children's choices can take us out. God bless you. So that was nice. AJ said, my grandmother used to say, watching the bars close on your child is harder than putting them in the ground for her because she felt helpless. Wow, that's powerful. But okay, so we have one author left that's gonna wrap this whole day up for us before we jump into our jammies. So last but not least, we have the amazing Tamara Goosh. You have the virtual stage.
I could just scream right now, but I'm not gonna do that. When I saw the title, I knew I had to be a part of this. Because there are topics that need to be talked about as a mom that I don't think a lot of people talk about. And I just want to say thank you, Kimberly, for just doing this project, and how grateful I am to be a part of it and just hear all day. Even though I worked today, I was working and listening in. All of these amazing moms, I'm just so thankful to be a part of such an amazing project. And when I saw it, I kept thinking, wow, I can relate to so many things on this list. What do I talk about? And I titled my chapter For Mama Nine at 40. And I kept praying, like, Lord, how do I fit everything that I've gone through and experience over these years of being a mother with such a span in between, so that other moms can understand what I mean and how it can help them in the process. And I just waited and waited and waited. And it was like the Holy Spirit dropped it on me and gave me the definition, because I kept trying to think of how can I define that phenomenon at 40? Because I had so many people asking me, what is that? And the best way for me to just describe that is because, like Tamlyn mentioned, I was a teen mom as well. I got pregnant with my oldest daughter, who's 26, when I was 19. And not wanting to be a statistic, I thought I could have this fairy tale life with her father. Dropped out of high school, did things that I'm not proud of. Because I wanted to please my parents, I decided to go back at a later date after I had my oldest and finish school. But the relationship was built on abuse, not physical, that emotional, that psychological. And for him, it was silent abuse and financial abuse. And I remember one day, my daughter, she was about 7 at the time, and I was laying in the bed crying, and she said to me, rubbing my face, Mommy, we're gonna be okay. And I looked at her, and it was like a surge went through me that pushed me to say, you know what, it's okay. You can leave this, because you don't want her to grow up to see this and think that it's okay. Because, and I think Margo mentioned it, it was the tradition that I thought I needed to stay and endure it, because my parents had been married for years. So I made the decision to leave. And as scared as it was to become a single mother, I was a single mother for 15 plus years. That was my best friend. We endured a lot of losses. We endured gains. But I wanted to write about that to show moms it's okay to be in a position where you have to work to take care of your child. Leave your child with that person who you trust the most. And I thank God my mother was that person, because I didn't want to leave her in a daycare. But then I fast forward and go through all of the tumultuous things that I endured, and not being present in her life for some of those years. 20 years later, I then meet and marry my now husband, who I did not even get I wasn't looking for him at all. God positioned all of that, because my brain was, if I have to continue to be a single mother, then so be it. I'm good. She's getting out the house, going to college. It's my time to travel and have fun. But God had a different plan. And his plan was me getting pregnant at 39 after marrying my husband after a year and a half. And we have to be careful what we say, because truly God is listening, and his plan is greater than our plan. Because I said to my husband when we got married, I said, well, because he didn't have any biological children, I said, if God uses me to bless you with that, I guess I'll have to be okay with it. So God said, okay, I have a sense of humor. You're 39, you're going to be with child. And I was 40 when I gave birth to her. I went into a deep depression because I didn't want a child. My business was at the height, and I kept saying, well, Lord, why? But the more I kept looking at this beautiful little face, the more God kept showing me, you're going to step back from everything you're doing. Here is what I want you to do. I want you to be present and not perfect. I need you to be present in the life of this child. With your first, you were present, but you were working, going to school. I was doing everything to be the mom and to make up for what her dad didn't do. So this was the time that God set me down and had that father-daughter talk. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm listening. I'll go to counseling. I'll go to therapy, because I need to lay on somebody's couch and just talk this through, because I know there are other mothers who feel the same way. And when I thought back to when I gave birth to my child, every mother on that floor that day was 35 years and up. I said, okay, so there's a surge in women who are choosing to give birth at later years, thinking my oldest daughter was going to feel some kind of way, because now it's not just her. She has a little sister, not realizing this is what she's always wanted. So for me, going through the depression and going through secluding myself and being angry with my husband and being angry with God, I was missing out on the blessing of being able to say to people, you can joke and call me and my husband Abraham and Sarah, but the blessing is with it. Because church folk did, they did. I laugh because it's okay though, because every child that God places on this earth has a purpose. And when I titled it For Mom and I at 40, I had to really think about the definition for me as well as for other moms. And it's a unique woman whose goal as a mother is to be present and not perfect. So if that is the one thing I can get across to moms, is you can work 80 hours every 2 weeks, 80 hours a week, thinking that you have to buy and give and produce the material things, but you're not giving your child what they need, and that's you as a mom. So being married to my husband now, we made the decision that I wasn't going to work outside the house. I was going to work inside the house. We were going to adjust our budget. Because I told him if we can do the budget for our church, we're gonna do the budget for our household. If we can man their money, we're gonna man ours the way we man theirs and live off of one income while I homeschool and be a mom. So I want to show mothers that being present doesn't mean you have to struggle. It doesn't mean you have to stress. It doesn't mean you have to be depressed. Look at the positives and show up in your child's life, letting them know those small things that we do, that God blessed us with the ability as mothers to give to our children, is what our children most need. So I look at this entire book as that mini manual for some moms to dive in and go through each woman's story and say, you know what, I can relate somewhere in here, because honestly, at the age of 19, and I love my mother, but you know, she's passed on now. She taught me how to be a mother, but some women don't have that manual. There isn't a manual at Barnes and Noble, but now there's one on Amazon that will let others know it's okay to not be perfect, mom. Your kids want to see you color outside the line. So I wanted to title it that, to let people know, no matter what age or how many children you have, the blended families or whatever it is, you are a phenomenon. I just so happen to be that phenomenon at 40.
Wow. That is so good. Thank you for your yes, Tamara. I remember when I saw your chapter name, I was like, phenomenon at 40. What's that about? And then you wrote it out so beautifully. And I love what you said, you know, about our children just really wanting our time. And it's that whole thing, you know, we joke about how when our kids were small, you buy them all these toys at Christmas and they were content to sit in the box. You know, they always want to get in the box. It's like, that's not really what they want. So yeah, you know, our most precious commodity with our time is, you know, with our children, is giving them our time. So thank you so much for pointing that out. It's funny because the other day I came home, I think I was telling Mary this, I came home on Thursday, I think it was, and no, it might've been yesterday. I don't know, I've lost track of time. But my son, when I came home, was like, I need to do this and I need to do that. I got to get ready for this event, right? And so I was just, all these things I thought I wanted to do. And when I got home, his energy, this is my son, the one that prayed over us this morning, his energy was like on 100, and he just wanted to talk to me. And he was in this state of gratefulness. And he just wanted to tell me all the things he was just so grateful for, like God had been doing this and moving in his life and that. And I just had to sit there and I was like, you know what? He just needs me to listen. So all that other stuff, I had to play catch up later. And it was almost an hour from the time I hit the door, you know, because the first time he came running in and I was on the phone and I'm like, you know, you need me? And then when he came in, he just like, it was just like the floodgates. And when our kids get like that and they just want to talk, it doesn't happen often, but it's like, stop everything. They need our time. They want our time. And that's the best gift we can give them. So I'm so happy you pointed that out just now. Your chapter is amazing. I thank you for saying yes. I thank you for being a part of this project and just adding more richness to the project. Man, this has been some good stuff. Let me go back and get some comments real quick. And then we'll do our last giveaways for this. Of course, we have the grand prize in the Mama Pajama Party. So let's see. Going back to Tamlyn, Tiffany Stutter said, it's a very hard path that takes a lot of patience and time, lots of grace and love daily. Debbie said, wow, blended families can use this wisdom, Tamlyn, bravo. Tiffany said, God's plan is always greater than ours. And this is Tamara says, wow, perfect, present, not perfect. I love that, someone commented. And let's see, and somebody else said present, not perfect. So that really resonated with people. And it's a powerful statement. And then Cheryl says, wow, how insightful. Present, not perfect again. And then Constanta said, great segment to end on. I appreciate you sharing. So we have, I can just tell that as much as it's been a blessing to me all day long, that it has been a blessing to our viewers because they're still hanging out with us. There's like 25 people still hanging on with us to the end here. So I'm going to do those last giveaways because maybe that's what they're hanging around for too. And I think I have, I'm going to do 2. I'm going to make it 2. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 giveaways right now. Should I do 2 or should I make it 3? I'll make it 2. Somebody's just going to get a fat one. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. So this giveaway is going to consist of, this one kind of speaks to what Margo was saying about, following your dreams, like going down your own path, recognizing who you are. So I like this, a beautiful journal. Again, because like I said earlier, we want this to inspire and encourage other women to continue to write their stories and to release things that were never meant for them to hold on to, but they were meant for them to release in order to benefit and bless, set free, and deliver other people. And so I want, people to start writing these things down. And when you're ready to publish, call me. I just have to throw that out there. So they're going to get the Follow Your Dreams journal. When we have a journal, we have to have something to sip the tea or coffee in. So they're going to get the official The Mom and Me mug. And while they're writing and sipping on the coffee or tea, they can kick up their feet in these cute little pink fuzzy slippers. How's that? So that's what's in the giveaway right now for this lucky winner: the journal, the mug, and the pink fuzzy slippers. And then we have one more. All right, so here we go. I'm spinning. You guys hear it? I want people to know I'm really mixing it up. Okay. Oh, open it up. Going in. Mix it up some more. Okay, here we go. Let's see who the lucky winner is. The lucky winner is Julia Hardison, and she is the guest of Misty Muhammad. So Julia Hardison is our winner of this lucky prize right here: the journal, the mug, and the fuzzy pink slippers. So Julia or Misty, reach out to Julia, get me her information so that we can get her gift to her. And I'm going to mix it up again for this next one too. So let me put this in here so I know who got what. Okay, I'm back. Okay, one more spin. And this one is for our last $50 Visa gift card. That is the final prize for this segment. All other gifts are in the Mama Pajama Party. So spin 2 more times, 3 more times. Here we go. Who's the lucky winner of the cash? The card cash. All right, here we go. Here we go. All right, let's see. The winner is Janelle Middleton. Woo! Janelle Middleton. She's my person. So I think she's my person. Yeah. There's so many people in here. So Janelle Middleton is the winner of the $50 Visa gift card. And that's all our gifts for this week. Where your pom-poms, ladies? Where your pom-poms? Yay! We made it through this whole day of the book launch celebration. Thank you so much to our viewers who have hung out with us all day long. Thank you to our authors of The Mom in Me. The Mom in Me is stories and practical advice from moms who have survived parenting. If you've been hanging out with us all day, you know that this book is filled with wisdom And so don't hesitate. If you haven't already, if you don't have it by now, I don't know what to say, except for going over to Amazon, bit.ly/mom and me book, pick up your copy of this Amazon #1 bestseller. Yes. And so we're going to get off of here. It's 8:33. We got to go jump in our jammies because we have the Mama Pajama Party starting up at 9 p.m. when we and Tam are going to be passed out in our PJs on the floor. But we'll go live first so you can see us, though. All right, guys, I'll see you back here at 9 p.m. if you're joining us for the Pajama Party. Thank you so much to everyone who was a part of this blessed event on today. All right, guys, take care. Be blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.